In a forest, Drossa wakes up to the sound of a plane arriving. She grabs her weapon and as soon as a man steps off the plane, he is shot in the head. Meanwhile, Levi, a former Marine, wakes up from a bad dream. In the morning, he gets a text message telling him to report to the Marine Corps base. When he arrives, he meets Agent Bartholomew. She knows about his impressive background as a top sniper and that he has no family or close ties. She's there to offer him a job. In September, Levi wakes up in a plane from an anesthesia-induced sleep. He asks a soldier where they are, but she is unauthorized to say. She takes all his personal items and tells him they're reaching a no-fly zone. He'll have to jump now and walk the rest of the way to his destination. Levi grabs the assigned bag and jumps. He lands safely and begins his long journey. Eventually, Levi reaches the edge of a huge gorge. Here he meets soldier JD, who has been here for a year and doesn't know where they are either. The men go to the west tower. On the other side of the gorge there's the east tower, and contact with that guard is forbidden, but there's no way to go across. As JD continues to show Levi around, he explains the mission. Levi's mission is simply to keep things in the gorge from coming out. JD says that in the late 1940s, 3 horseback battalions were sent into the gorge to clean it out, but nobody returned. Afterward, JD leaves the tower and hikes all the way to the pickup point. A month later, Levi has gotten used to his very boring routine. While working on the garden, Levi notices some movement on the other tower. He rushes to his binoculars and sees Drossa cutting wood. Another month passes and Drossa has to celebrate her birthday alone. Tired of the boredom, she shoots a gun to get Levi's attention and holds up a sign asking for his name. Levi writes back that they aren't supposed to talk, so Drossa responds with her name and saying she'll do whatever she wants on her birthday. An amused Levi replies with his name too and raises a glass so they can make a toast. However, she stops everything when she notices something moving in the gorge. When Levi looks down, he discovers strange creatures that look like people made of trees climbing up his side of the gorge wall. He immediately shoots one of these monsters and causes it to fall onto a mine. So Levi continues shooting and Drossa helps him using her machine gun. Then he goes down to fix all the damage and replace the mines. Suddenly a drone flies out of the gorge and flies off. During all the tools from the armory, Levi builds a special contraption and shoots a rocket across the gorge which gets stuck on a tree. Then Levi slides down the rope to cross the gorge. Soon he makes it to Drossa's tower and gives her flowers. In the morning, Levi begins sliding on the rope to return to his tower. At that moment the hollow men appear on his wall and hit a mine, causing a huge explosion that cuts the rope. Levi begins falling and immediately opens his parachute while Drossa rushes to her armory to grab a bunch of weapons and a parachute of her own. She jumps into the gorge and after a few miles of falling she lands right into a river. The river is still pushing Drossa, so she grabs onto some tree roots to reach land. Meanwhile, Levi is unconscious, hanging from a tree. Suddenly a branch moves, revealing a monster. As it gets closer, Levi wakes up and starts shooting at it while freeing himself from the ropes.
He falls to the ground.
The sticky substance traps him as the monster's mouth begins to close. Luckily, Drossa hears the gunshots, arrives, and shoots the creature, saving Levi just in time. Suddenly, they hear screeching, and 2 strange, hollow-looking men on tree-like horses appear. The 2 continue through the forest and find an abandoned town covered in mutated plants. They discover an old door leading to a facility overrun by plants. Inside they learn it was once a military lab. Levi finds a tape and plays it. Recording explains that in 1946, this place was a secret lab where scientists worked on biochemical weapons during World War II. An earthquake caused a chemical leak, merging the toxin with the DNA of local plants and animals, mutating them. The scientists were also affected, as shown by a woman in the video with branches growing from her stomach. In another room, they find a computer from the 2000s revealing that experiments continued after the initial incident. The drone they saw earlier was collecting samples for experiments to create super soldiers. Levi also learns about the stray dog protocol, a nuclear bomb designed to sterilize the area in case of another leak. As they leave, they throw a smoke grenade, but a hollow man grabs Drossa with its whip and drags her away. Levi follows and finds her in a facility with the nuclear bomb. The hollow man has hung Drossa and is torturing her, but she frees herself by kicking him and untying the ropes. Levi arrives and shoots the hollow man dead. They escape and cross a creepy bridge with faces breathing in goo. Later, they find military jeeps and drive for hours until they reach a broken rope. Levi ties the rope to the jeep, while Drossa shoots at approaching hollow men. They use the jeep to climb a wall, then cut the rope, causing the jeep to fall and crush the remaining hollow men. They climb the rest of the way and return to Drossa's tower. They agree to quarantine for 5 days in case they're infected. The next day, during a radio check-in, Levi is contacted by Bartholomew, who knows someone entered the gorge. Levi pretends to accept a mission to kill the person in the other tower, but Bartholomew already knows both Levi and Drossa were in the lab. The next morning, As they prepare mines, a helicopter arrives. Soldiers find the tower empty and send drones after Levi and Drossa. A chase begins, and they shoot down the drones while getting injured. They reach a high spot, set up sniper positions, and shoot at the soldiers. The mines they planted earlier cause a chain reaction, destroying many soldiers. The gorge is exposed, activating the stray dog protocol. The nuclear bomb explodes, destroying the area and causing the helicopter to crash, killing everyone inside. Unfortunately, Levi is thrown off a cliff by the explosion and falls into a river. A month later, with no news from Levi, Drossa is working as a waitress when she is shocked to see Levi sitting at a table.